What's going on YouTube? Q back here again with another video for you. Today's video is raining outside, but I don't care. I got content to make. So today is the day after they released the new M2, the G87. I got the F87 M2, so the next generation to this one. So I'm about to give my thoughts on that, being the F87 owner. So it's a lot to cover. Like, this car is new from the ground up, and some things done changed on these cars, so I'm about to get into that in this video. Also, shout out to the Men of Culture, Honey Gang Nate, Race Car Friends, Blueprint 1LE. I shouted them out in my last video because I'm trying to get those guys on the track. I want to see what my M2 competition can do against their Camaro. So stay tuned for that. We gotta link up and get all us in the same spot. But this video, M2 F87 versus G87, my thoughts on that being an F82 or F87 owner. Before we hop into the meat and potatoes of this video, cue the intro. So before I begin talking, let me get my car in the video, because I had somebody complain about the car being out of focus. I'm the star of this channel, man. It's not about the car. I own the car. I'm the star of the show. But let me get the car in focus so you can see what we're working with, and this is an appropriate video for it. This is a 2021 BMW M2 competition, Alpine White. Got a few mods on here. And I think this car is gorgeous. Still got a paper plate on here, waiting for my real plate to come in the mail. But this is BMW's fun car. So this is the spiritual successor to the E36, E46, and some say the E90. But this is the lighter, fun to drive, tossable, and just your all around. This is what BMW, the ultimate driving machine, is. Nowadays BMW is heavily focused on luxury and speed. It seems like the cars used to be like naturally aspirated, then we got the inline sixes, everything's like twin turbo V8 now. But the new M2, that thing is wider and longer than this car. So the wheelbase on the new car is 2 inches longer than this wheelbase. And I said in a few videos, this short wheelbase makes this car, it gives it the playful nature, because shorter wheelbases, you get to be more tail happy and do things of that nature. Adds character to the car. And that car is 4 inches longer, so that's substantial, because this is a small car. And to make it longer, you would think that would be M3 territory or M4 territory. And it might be, but I don't know the exact dimensions on that. And while the car has grown in length, it's got less practical on the interior. I watched a few reviews and everybody's saying that the interior is more cramped, the back seats specifically, because this is like an everyday, daily driver type of sports car with the back seats. That's why people would choose this over a Cayman, because you got functional back seats. But the new one, it's smaller back there. So let's talk about the price. So the price of my car was about $58,000 or $59,000, and this is basically fully loaded, so I got the executive package. The newer one starts at $63,195, and it can be optioned up to higher than $72,000. We'll talk about how it can get up to that price. But the new one also has 453 horsepower, 406 pound-feet of torque. This car has 405 horsepower with 406 pound-feet of torque. So the new car gained more horsepower but kept the same torque, and it's still a 3-liter inline 6 turbocharged car. So my M2, even though it's not like a featherweight, it's like 3,583 pounds. The new M2, it comes in at a whopping like 3,800 and something pounds, so about 240 pounds heavier than this. And if you want a fun car, that's the wrong way to go. You want to lose weight to add to the tossability, because when you lighten up the weight, it makes all the driving dynamics better and more efficient. But when you add weight, you got to add power, and the power to weight ratio is probably better on this car than the new M2. Both of these M2s are rear wheel drive. The M240i, that's all-wheel drive, but this one and the new M2, both rear-wheel drive, and you can get both with the automatic or a manual. Now the new one, since what I've seen in the videos, the new automatic takes it up a notch, so it is tuned in really well. And everybody that I've seen the review on, I watched Throttle House, Car Wow, and the Smoking Tire, and they all prefer the automatic over the manual. The manual seems like an afterthought. My car here is a manual. That's what I do, get the manual. But it seems like they just wanted to satisfy a customer like me, a potential buyer of a car that wants the manual. So, you know, we got the Super that just got a manual, and they say that manual is pretty good. But even the manual in this car, I think is like, man, it's okay. But I've driven many better manuals in a lot of different cars. So one of the changes with the new M2 are the tires. My car does have 19s, but on the new one, they come with 19s in the front and 20s in the rear. So this is where all your money is going to come into. So the interior of the car. Because if you look inside my car, I know it's almost dark, but my car is pretty basic. And that's where, in this generation, you would have to step up to the M3 if you wanted like all the niceties of a BMW. Or more of the niceties. Step up to a 5 Series, you want all the good stuff. 7 Series, if you want everything BMW got to offer. So in my car, we got this small screen over here and a mostly analog display. So it's not much to write home about. Got a little bit of dry carbon going on in here. And I got some nicely bolstered seats, which you can barely see. Come on, lights. All right, there we go. Let there be light. The lights then came on. So my seats are kind of plainish, black with the blue stitching. The new one, you can get like some cognac colored leather in there. You can get some carbon bucket seats in there, like black seats with the M designs on here, the M colors. So on the new M2, you get like motorized headrests where it comes up with the seat. Can mine do that? Nope, mine look like they're fixed. I'm just now noticing that. Ew. And my iDrive in here is pretty archaic, so I'm like 2 generations old, so they get the latest and greatest with that. The new M2 is highly customizable, so you got a big screen that goes across like the cluster and the radio screen, but there's so much customization with that car. So it comes, you get the adaptive dampers in that car, and this one you only get it on the CS version. So this is one suspension for everything, and that one you can modify so many things like the pedals, the dampers, all kinds of launch control settings. You can turn off auto rev match. That's something this car doesn't even do. I'm like, wow. So it seems like where the M2 CS left off at, that's the new M2's floor. So the CS ceiling is the new M2's floor. So you also get things, you can get the carbon fiber roof on there now. You can get the carbon bucket seats, and you can get the interior carbon trim. And that, when I mentioned it can get up to $70-something thousand, it's like a $9,900 package to get the carbon buckets, the carbon fiber trim, and the carbon fiber roof on there. So that's where all your money's going into, features like that. Or you can get a carbon fiber roof as a standalone option, and that'll cost you like $2,600. So it's good that we do have options on there, because like I said, this car you can get like executive package, which gives you like heated steering wheel, wireless CarPlay, a couple other things. Or you can get like the M Performance exhaust, which you can do like a lot of M Performance parts on the new one too. So the options that you can get on that car is way further, way beyond what this car was ever capable of being optioned out as. So a couple other features that the new one gets that this one doesn't have is like a heads-up display, and you can get adaptive cruise control. And I think that's a great feature, because that car is geared more so towards a daily driver. This car, it can do it, but it's more sports car-ish. But that car is meant to be like a real do-it-all arounder, kind of like an M3. They made it more of an M3, and it's got like a lot of the M3 options now. So that's what they did with the new generation. So it's more grown up, more mature, less playful. I don't want to pass judgment on it because I haven't driven one yet. So what do I think about the looks of it? It's okay to me. I personally prefer the looks of this one better, but I'll hold off till I see one in person, because sometimes you see a car in person and it looks better, but like the stance of it, like the hips on that thing, got hips and thighs, it sits like a frog, and it's got a lot of straight lines on it. These cars have been somewhat curvaceous since like the E46 on afterwards, and now they kind of mix that with the hard lines, and it just looks different. It might take some time to grow, but I prefer this one hands down over that one. Would I consider buying the new M2? Consider it if I didn't have this car. Starting off at $63,000, and cars like all these new generations, when they come out, cars are just stepping up in price. Like the Civic Type R went up a few thousand, like $7,000. Civic Si went up a lot of money. The M3 went up pretty big, and the new M2 has done the same. So would I spend $63,000 for a base M2? That's a hard choice, man. Cause $63,000, and I like to compare that to my last car, the ZL1 Camaro. That car was $65,000. So, and you get a lot more car with that. Like, that car had heated steering wheel, heated and ventilated seats, heads-up display. It didn't have adaptive cruise control, and it was a better handling car with way more power. So it's kind of hard to justify that, especially when you get up to like $70,000. I wouldn't do it. That's very pricey, because I think this car was a great value. Like when the regular M2 came out, it was like $50,000. That was a superb value for an M car, and now it's up like 13 grand over that. Even this car, it's like up $4,000 over that. I don't know. Would I trade up to that M2, having this M2? I said in my last video I'll never sell it, but I did mention if that M2 was that great, then maybe. But maybe we'll see if a competition comes out, or if they have some more styling mods that looks better. But I think it'll be a good car. It'll be more mature, and the longer wheelbase makes it for a more compliant ride. When you get the shorter wheelbases, it tends to be like more sports-like, but that's what I wanted this car to be, more sporty. But it's all in what you're looking at. If you want one car that's very sporty and that can do it all, the new one fits the bill, but you got to spend that coin on it too. So I don't think it's the value that it once used to be. Like that, it's a steep price to pay. But if you like the automatics too and straight line speed, it does that too. And these things put the power down to the ground. The new one does it much better than this car. This car tends to slide around a little bit. That car, it just gets the power to the ground and just moves. Even though it's the power to weight ratio is less, like the car moves because the technology gets better. You get a better launching system. It has an E-diff on it, and you're able to just take off with technological advances. So I'm getting rained on out here, so I should get going. But that's my thoughts as an F87 owner on the new G87. So kudos to BMW for even making that car, especially with the manual, because we're seeing those go away year in, year out. Electrification taking over, and I have no knock against electrification, but in my sports car, I want to hear that engine roar. And shout out to BMW for making that, at least for another generation. That's my thoughts on that. I think it's a wonderful car. It's a little polarizing to look at, but it'll perform, and I don't know if it's going to be as raw as this one, but we'll see. That remains to be seen. So hopefully I'll get to drive one of those in the near future so I can compare those too. So if you got a Connect, hook me up. Let me know what you think about the new M2. Do you like the looks? Do you like the performance? Is it a deal? Drop a comment down below. So that's all I got for you all in this video. Don't forget to check out my channel, browse around, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace out.